Hey everyone, I'm Bradley, and welcome to Zlangle. This will be my spoiler discussion for the new film, Star Wars The Last Jedi. And this is definitely one that you want to make sure you watch before hearing spoilers. So we've waited over 2 years for Episode 8, though some might say that we've waited over 30 years for some of the moments in this. And walking out of it, I couldn't believe what I had just watched. But was it a positive reaction or a negative one? For me, it was absolutely a positive reaction.
But Bradley, you love everything Star Wars.
No, I don't. And even with The Force Awakens, I walked out with somewhat mixed feelings. Later, after I had more time to digest it, I do like going back and rewatching it. But with this, the entire time I was locked on, invested in everything I was seeing, and even with Luke passing away at the end, as sad as it was, it still felt right to me. I'm going to start with Luke. The first thing he does when Rey gives him his old lightsaber is throw it over his shoulder. My reaction was similar to, "What?" But I suppose that was the intended response that Rian Johnson wanted me to have. After thinking about it, I think it's a good dramatic action to show that he has no interest in training anyone or getting involved with what's going on with the galaxy. Sounds familiar.
I can't get involved. It's not that I like the Empire, I hate it, but there's nothing I can do about it right now.
But here he has a reason he's not going out and helping the rebellion or continuing the Jedi legacy. He feels like he let Ben Solo down. Luke felt the darkness within him and had a fleeting thought of killing him in his sleep to keep him from doing the acts he would one day commit. And when Rey comes to the island, he refuses to train her. But trusty R2 reminds Luke how this whole story got started with these same words from decades ago.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
While he does give Rey a few lessons, he still tells her that the Jedi only has a history of failure and should not be revived. But then later, Yoda visits him, and Luke learns that the Jedi aren't just a bunch of old books and knowledge. Being a Jedi is about your actions and learning from every failure. Luke was my favorite part of the movie, and it was incredible to see Mark Hamill back on the screen as my all-time favorite film character. But let's move on to some other standout elements. Rey, Finn, and Poe were, I feel, even better in this than Force Awakens. Again, Rian Johnson took everything that J.J. Abrams set up and paid them off beautifully. It almost felt like the end of a trilogy in some ways. But at the same time, though it is satisfying in and of itself, it does leave a lot of room for more stories and expanding the new mythology. It's just brilliant. I want to mention some other fantastic moments, and I think one of the biggest is one of the other greatest film characters ever, Yoda. This magnificent little green alien. This was something I had not expected in the least. For some reason, I just thought there wouldn't be Force ghosts in these new movies, but I'm glad they took the chance to do it when a Force ghost was needed the most. Like I mentioned earlier, he helped talk some sense into Luke, and would have been the only one to be able to do that besides Obi-Wan. The space battle at the beginning was amazing, and it was a great way to immediately get into the movie and start off with a bang. And seeing Poe fly his X-Wing showed to me how good of a pilot he is. In the past, whenever it's mentioned that someone is a good pilot, be it Luke,
"You bet I could. I'm not such a bad pilot myself. I'm not going to sit here."
or Anakin,
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy.
they've never really showcased off their skills too much. At least not in the same way Poe was shown to be the best pilot in the Resistance. Maybe Han. He was pretty good with the Falcon. Another huge scene that changes the franchise is the death of Snoke. This is something I definitely did not see coming. It makes sense though. It's pretty much tradition for a Lord of the Dark Side to be murdered by their apprentice. But this happening in the middle of the trilogy instead of the finale means that Kylo Ren could be the full-out villain in the last movie. Kylo Ren, now having the entire First Order fleet at his disposal, will be the biggest and scariest threat any protagonist of Star Wars have had to face, in my opinion. Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi was full of surprises, it gave closure to characters and storylines that finally came to an end, and it gave way to many things to come in future installments. And Luke was right.
This is not going to go the way you think.
It definitely didn't go the way I thought. Well, those are my first impressions on the film. I just wanted to let you guys know what I thought about it. And tell me in the comments what you thought. I know there are a wide variety of opinions on this film, so I'm curious to know. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching, I really appreciate it. If you need me, I'll be in the theater watching it again. Enough said, and Excelsior. And may the Force be with you. Always.